Hi, I'm Christina Vanderwater. Welcome to Bouncing Off the Walls Resin Studio. If you took part in my Northern Lights resin art tutorial, you might have a piece similar to this that also still has all the drips on the back. Now that our pieces are fully cured, we are going to remove those drips and get the piece all nice and finished to be able to give to our customer or hang on your wall if that's what you're doing. Now, I used Minwax finishing paste on the back of mine to make the drip removal easy. Today I'm going to show you how I remove the drips using that method. You may have used tape, you may have used something yucky like Vaseline, but either way, the drips need to come off, and I'm going to show you an easy way that I do that. Now, using the Minwax paste, what it has done is it's created a barrier between the wood and the resin. So it makes things just a little easier to get it off because it didn't adhere to the wood really well. You could just go along and snap your drips off. The problem with doing that, however, is sometimes you'll get a little tear away. So you'll get a drip, you go to pull it off, and it tears the side right out of your piece. And we don't want that. We don't want tear out on our pieces because then we get a big chunk where there's no resin and it looks horrible. I know that you're seeing your piece from the front, but we want the sides to look nice too. I'm going to show you a way to make sure that doesn't happen. You are not going to need a lot of supplies for this stage of the game. You will need a heat gun. It just helps in softening the resin a little bit so that you can then take this paint scraper and you're almost going to be cutting through the resin. You will need a mask. If you're heating the resin up, sometimes it will create some fumes, so you want to protect your lungs. You'll need a soft surface. We're going to be turning our piece upside down. We don't want to get scratches on it. You'll need your art piece, and lastly, you'll need either a hand sander or some sort of sanding tool, sandpaper, whichever is your preference. I use an old towel to put my piece down onto. We don't want to be putting our art surface down on top of a hard surface and getting scratches on it, which can happen when you're moving it around from the backside. So I put a towel down for softness. Next, I take my heat gun and I just lightly warm up those edges a little bit, just enough to kind of soften the resin so that my paint scraper will cut through it nice and smoothly. I kind of do this in sections. It just makes it a little easier than trying to heat the whole thing at once. Come in with my paint scraper and I just simply run it along there and it takes the drips right off. What I like about this method is it's fast, it's easy, and it gives you a nice, smooth, clean edge that although we are going to still do a little bit of sanding to clean it up, it's a lot smoother, a nice crisp edge than if you were trying to do it with nothing on there at all. So once I have all the drips off and we have a back with no drips on it, it's still kind of messy. I like to clean this up, so I just take it out, use my hand sander, sand the back, make it all nice and smooth, because when I'm giving my customer a product, I want it to be nice on the front and the back, even though the back stays hidden. It's just that little final touch. Of course, now that you've done all that sanding and everything, we have some dust on here and things are a little messed up, fingerprints, what have you. So the last step that I do is I just take a nice soft cloth, rag, whatever, and I just do a little cleanup. And I make sure that I get all the edges as well. Now you can wet the cloth a little bit if you like. Try to make sure all the dust is off. Resin is sort of like having a glass coffee table. If you've ever had glass, you know that keeping fingerprints off of it can be really difficult. So I always handle the pieces from the sides, get all the dust off, and that's where we're finished.